great. What are they doing well defensively? Why are they holding you guys to 10 points tonight?
Yeah, I think it's a good scheme. I think they did a good job. You know.
Shoot! Oh, shoot! Oh, shoot! I had one thing to do today, one thing in my useless life to do to keep me from being like the most useless person on earth, and I almost forgot to do it. So the outcome of this game was like about as foregone a conclusion as like Richard Simmons being mobbed by a bunch of 300-pound spandex-clad women. It's an interesting game. This is the second straight week the Vikings played a quarterback who hates his head coach. It was a little different this time though because this quarterback didn't try to sabotage his team and make them lose so the coach got fired. What is it that Bill Belichick coach teams always do? They take away the thing that you do best. And what did the Vikings do best? Fake injuries. Bill Belichick stole Xavier Rhodes' thunder. Bill Belichick had Patrick Chung fake an injury so that he could challenge a play after a 4th and 1 play where the Vikings didn't really get it, but the refs said they got it, and then they never overturned it for some reason. Like when Xavier Rhodes fakes an injury, it's not for any benefit for the team. It's just because he wants attention or something. Bill Belichick's like, hey, I can fake an injury here, allow myself to challenge, and potentially help myself win the game. Genius. It was a brilliant decision there to run rather than do a quarterback sneak on that 4th and 1, by the way. Do something that you know won't work as opposed to something that's wide open for you. That was also the point in the game where like Adam Thielen just totally lost it, got into it with Bill Belichick. You should be yelling at your own coach, you know? Hey, how come you never prepare us for anything the opposing team is going to do? Or maybe yell at your quarterback, hey, nice 3-yard pass to the worst player in the NFL on 4th and 11. Or yell at Laquan Treadwell, hey, can you play quarterback? I like what Kirk Cousins said after the game about the Vikings' thought process going into the game. Well, we went into the game thinking they were going to stop us. So why did you show up? Oh, well, we knew we were going to get stopped. Just don't show up. 25th ranked pass defense in the league. They've allowed 6 100-yard receivers. We have 2 very good wide receivers. Oh, well, they're just going to stop them. They're just going to take them out of the game. We just knew that going in. All those 10-yard cushions I saw, yeah, they were really taking them out of the game. We went into the game taking ourselves out of it. That's the Viking way. But let's look at where the game was truly lost. The Vikings started like crap, as always. 3rd straight game where they start with a 3 and out. On the first play, Cousins couldn't throw a planned dump off to Cook. Do they practice? I guess Cousins is too used to throwing bad laterals, so he decided to throw another bad lateral, but he accidentally threw it slightly forward this time. I don't know. It's but $28 million. Okay. But on the second possession, the Vikings run the play they should have started the game with, play action bootleg, Kyle Rudolph, 1st down. The only bootleg I remember seeing the whole game. Next play, run Cook, explosive 32-yard run. The defense is ripe for the picking, so what do? You give it to Latavius Murray, game over. Checkmate. You're done. What you should have done is another play action bootleg. The defense was primed for another run play. You play action there, you get Cousins out of the pocket. You probably have guys open down the field, but instead run up the middle. And then next, of course, Buck talks about how the Patriots never get any sacks.
Only have 17 sacks as a group, and that is the fewest ever under Belichick.
So, of course, sack. Cousins helped them by just standing there and 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 holding the ball.
Well, good coverage then by this secondary, and as a result of it, Kirk Cousins is having to hold on to the football, and then time just went out.
And then on 3rd and long, Cousins does his, no-step drop, ensuring that he has no time to throw. Then, of course, Bailey missed the field goal after our punter doesn't come on until forever. So, what did Bill Belichick do to stop our offense? Nothing! Nothing! We did it to ourselves! They got the 25th ranked pass defense! Bill Belichick just let us beat ourselves. He looked at Kirk Cousins and said, well, I'll just want to have my guys in a 3-point stance at the snap. And that'll throw Cousins into flubberland. He won't know what to do, so he'll have to check down on every play like a moron. And he was only sacked twice! So it wasn't like he was under pressure all game. There were tons of plays where he had all day to throw. He just couldn't hit anybody. Thielen pretty much took himself out of the game. This is probably the worst game I've ever seen him play. A couple of bad drops on the rare occasion when Cousins actually got him the ball. Other times Thielen got open, Cousins just couldn't hit him, and of course other times he also couldn't hit Aldrick Robinson on a couple of long throws, and Cousins sucks. Can somebody please explain to me why they like never throw to Rudolph though? Rudolph has caught everything this year. There were plays where he was wide open. Cousins never even looks his way. He's too busy checking down to CJ Ham. What in the heck is going on? And why do they insist on throwing to Treadwell? Explain this to me. Would Tom Brady keep throwing to Treadwell? Would Drew Brees? Would Aaron Rodgers? Well, Aaron Rodgers would, of course, because that would help him get his coach fired, because that's all he cares about, is blaming someone else for his shortcomings. How many missed tackles did the Patriots have? Like 0. How many missed assignments do they have? Like 0. They just cover the guy they're supposed to cover. It's pretty simple. The Vikings can't cover anybody. There's guys wide open all the time against this defense. I mean, how many times did a Patriots defender pick his own guy and keep his own guy from making a play?
Well, it looked like Eric Kendricks was in man coverage on White, but Harrison Smith, who's trying to disguise the coverage right here, kind of gets in his way, and it keeps Kendricks from being able to get to him in time.
Harrison Smith did it. That stupid Harrison Smith running around before the snap, thinking he's actually doing something, thinking Tom Brady's going to get confused. First ballot JV Hall of Famer Harrison Smith. To illustrate what really makes the Patriots defense so good, let's look at that play late in the second quarter where Anthony Harris stopped Rob Gronkowski just short of a first down on second down. It brings up 3rd and short. The Vikings stuff the Patriots. Momentum shifts. What does this have to do with the Patriots defense? Well, that great play by Anthony not good enough to start over Andrew frickin' Sendejo Harris is what the Patriots defense does on virtually every play. They don't let the guy break a tackle. They make sure the guy gets as little as possible on every play. It's that simple. You make the plays you're supposed to make. They step in front of the receiver at the goal line at the end of the Super Bowl to win the Super Bowl when it looked like we were surely going to lose. They knocked the ball out of Lee Evans' hand in the end zone, what would have won the AFC Championship game, and instead the Patriots win the AFC Championship game and go to the Super Bowl. They get intercepted in a playoff game against the Chargers, and then as the guy's returning the interception, they strip the guy who intercepted it, recover, and that keeps them in the playoffs. They win that game when they would have lost. Now, who were the big names who made those plays? Those all-pro superstar players that made those plays for the Patriots. They were a bunch of bums. Malcolm Butler, Sterling Moore, Troy Brown. These are nobodies. These are just guys who fundamentally make plays and they don't quit on the play ever. The Anthony Harrises, the Holton Hills, the Stephen Weatherlys. These are the only guys on the Vikings defense who do anything, because they're the only ones who are hungry. The only ones who don't show up completely out of shape after they're named an All-Pro, tweak their hamstring on every play. Of course, it's pretty easy for a defense to make plays when the offense throws a 3-yard pass to Laquan Treadwell on 4th and 11. Can we just cut Kirk Cousins right now, just for that throw? Can we just cut him? And like after the game, he's just like, well, that's what...
I was just playing with our rules within the offense of, if that free safety blitzes, the route he runs, the throw I make, that's what we do.
Is this guy the stupidest person on earth? Is he the worst quarterback in the history of the NFL? I had to throw it to Treadwell. You had Thielen, you had these massive cushions on these other guys, you could have just thrown it up to him. If it gets intercepted down the field, that is better than Treadwell getting tackled for a 3-yard gain. Can we just write that $60 million check to Cousins? Let's start a fundraiser. Raise $60 million to write him a check and get him out of here. And nothing illustrates the difference between like a good quarterback like Tom Brady and a piece of garbage like Kirk Cousins, like that 3rd and 3 in the first quarter where the Vikings blitz Brady. He sees the blitz immediately, and what else does he see? Our defensive line parting like the Red Sea. He knows that he, the slowest human being on the planet, not named Laquan Treadwell, will get the first down if he runs. Kirk Cousins would have stood there like a moron, held the ball for about 10 seconds, and gotten sacked. mean, in the history of horrible Vikings play calling, this particular game has to be one of the worst, and nothing illustrates it better than the sequel to last week's worst play call ever. This time they had Diggs, Thielen, and Cook in the backfield. Now, if the Vikings defense saw this play, they'd be like, oh no, what do we do? Their three best players are right next to each other. That's so much goodness all in one spot. I'm so confused. Who are they going to give it to? I'm just going to crap my pants and lay down and let them score. The Patriots, and any other defense that isn't stupider than a corporate vice president for diversity, look at that and say, hey, great. Everyone we need to worry about is in a 3-inch radius.
Anything in this 3 inches.
Someone in that 3-inch radius will get the ball and we'll stop them because they're in a 3-inch radius. And they stop. Am I missing something here? I mean, am I just a genius that I can see this? I mean, it's just tons of horrible play calls. This bizarre fixation with C.J. Ham, never throwing to Kyle Rudolph, although I don't think that's a play calling. That is Kirk Cousins, never throwing to Kyle Rudolph. So much of this is Kirk Cousins just not giving guys a chance to make plays. How is this team still in playoff contention? I don't understand it. They're so bad. Anyway, our awards this week, the Xavier Rhodes Award for a ridiculously large cushion by an all-pro cornerback on a short yardage play. That, of course, goes to Xavier Rhodes. Pretty much see this every week. Congratulations. The My Ex-Wife Shaving Her Legs Award for something that happens once a year. That's it's going to go to Everson Griffin.
And that is well played by Everson Griffin.
Completely justified sarcasm of the week by a guy who's a total annoying dink. That goes to Joe Buck.
Matt Weil was on time for this upcoming punt.
Best one-step drop on 3rd and 17, that goes, of course, to Kirk Cousins. Just fundamentally brilliant, you know. You got to pick up a lot of yards, so you want to give yourself as little time as possible to make that throw. The clearest cry for help by a quarterback who wants everyone to know he's completely worthless, that's going to Cousins on that 4th and 11 3-yard throw to Laquan Treadwell. It's basically just Cousins saying, I am the stupidest quarterback in the NFL. I have no idea what it takes to win. Somebody help me. Somebody schedule an intervention. The out-of-context quote of the week that will be used by Skip Bayless in his next book, that goes, of course, to Troy Aikman, as it usually does.
That's nice action there.
I think Skip will get some mileage out of that one.
That's nice action there.
The award for a horrible play, obviously designed by John D. Filippo. That was like, I think, a Redskins play. So the Redskins are down to like their 5th string quarterback. And then Mark Sanchez, who's like flipping burgers the past few years, comes in. But he looks better than Kirk Cousins. 3rd string quarterback for the team that Kirk Cousins left is as good as Kirk Cousins. Must have been D. Filippo, because that looks a lot like one of those Vikings plays where you just get everybody in the backfield and you just say, hey, somebody in the backfield's going to get the ball, so just come here and tackle. I think our only hope this coming week against the Seahawks is that Pete Carroll just gets too excited by himself that he forgets to coach. But that'll just make things even, because Zimmer seems to forget to coach every week. Can't wait for next week's game. Actually, I can.
Pass is underneath, caught but well short by Laquan Treadwell.